Rifftrax. I don't have a click tracks, better riffs I'm missing. Why you always gotta pick Rifftrax? Rifftrax picks on the tracks we're ripping. It's your lucky day, it's time for Rifftrax.
Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to episode 8 of my series, Every Rifftrax Short Reviewed, where I take 5 Rifftrax shorts in chronological order, give them a review and a rating between the numbers of 1 and 5, with the ratings being good, great, awesome, fantastic, and spectacular, since I've never seen a bad Rifftrax short myself. And for those of you wondering why, once again, I just have the vocals on today, not the actual camera, it's just another time issue. It's already pretty late in the evening, and I want to make sure I get this up on Tuesday, before midnight where it becomes Wednesday, and that's about it. So let's get right into it with episode 8 of Every Rifftrax Short Reviewed. Number 36, Going Steady, from April 3rd, 2009.
We we seem to get along.
A born romantic.
I like it that way.
We kind of appear to have a mutual interest in each other.
In this little love story, we see a couple of teenagers who've recently been going out pretty exclusively for a while. In other words, you could say they're going steady. Their only problem is that nobody told them that.
Going steady? Me?
I just learned how to use a knife and fork.
But then, we've dated regularly for quite a while. But it's not serious. Really, it isn't.
Really, Alice the Brady's maid, it isn't.
Well, I have had quite a few dates with Marie.
Or Eleanor Roosevelt, as the public knows her.
Jeff asked me for a date. Naturally, I refused.
I mean, only a loser would go out with a guy like him.
No.
Everybody knows. Everybody but me.
Me, the middle-aged high school junior.
Going steady?
But if you take my advice, you'll get your man and you'll go steady.
Get your man? She a teenage girl or a U.S. Marshal?
Besides, I don't know how Jeff feels about all this.
Well, the fact that he asked out your friend might be a hint.
Once the kids have their minds blown about their own relationship status, their parents start to advise them. Both of them get pretty much the same advice. Why bother getting into a committed relationship at all when you can go steady with a bunch of people? Which, as you may have noticed, does not meet the definition of the term.
Mother, I like Jeff a lot.
Well, I know, dear. I like him, too.
We dated for a while last year.
After all...
As long as you don't expect too much of each other.
That's funny, Dad. I half expected you to be mad when I told you.
That being your reaction to 97% of the things I tell you.
When we haven't even talked about going steady. You
just sort of go steady.
Don't let his Floyd the Barber look fool you. Dad's got a steel-trap mind.
There are other boys in the world.
If there are, I wish one of them had called.
Now, would you date with one if he did call?
Mother, an in-house gossip columnist.
A lot of young people do actually drift into marriage without first finding out how they get along with more than just one person.
So his parents are telling him to screw around.
Learn about yourself.
And your many dark, almost unspeakable aspects.
But don't expect too much. Don't make any commitments. That makes sense.
And the sexual revolution began that very day.
If you're not planning on getting married, how about not going steady at all? But oh well. This anti-love at first sight story gets a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, real quick then, the advantages, you can get to know someone really well. Disadvantages, you can get to know someone really well.
And correct.
Number 37, Carnivorous Plants, from April 7th, 2009.
A correct number of these negative impulses will cause the trap to spring.
In short, bow down before our new rulers, the plants.
I bet before today you thought that human beings had created the best traps and weapons the world's ever seen. Well, you were wrong, my friend. The greatest traps in the world have come from none other than God himself.
The similarity between a Venus flytrap and a bear trap is quite remarkable, isn't it?
In fact, the plant world won their lawsuit proving that.
Yet a master craftsman has laid out with intricate design a variety of traps to serve the needs of nature.
So God is primarily a designer of plant weaponry.
The trouble. Can you imagine building all of this complicated mechanism into a trap the size of the head of this pin? God did it.
And he did it on a coffee break between making the Andes Mountains and inventing nitrogen.
In a frustrated attempt for freedom, a false step usually occurs, and the insect adds to the daily mineral requirements of a carnivorous plant.
The organisms most beloved of God.
The trap itself is so tiny that it will take a microscope to see it work.
God invented an early microscope too, but it was surprisingly ineffective.
The plant trapped inside. Eventually he succumbs and is digested.
And God is well pleased.
Yes, here we get a nice little botany lesson, and to be honest, while the host is pretty weird, the actual information in this short is pretty interesting. I know I definitely learned something from it.
Well, this certainly is an age of progress, isn't it?
Suits are boxier than ever.
You see, no energy is wasted on a twig or a leaf that might fall into the trap.
Plants are lazy bastards.
But even...
This really isn't a natural behavior for plants. They're just all contestants on Fear Factor.
Now, the bear trap has a trigger right there.
How much will you pay me if I do it?
There is actually a flow of electrical current from those tiny trigger hairs to the apex of the plant.
Powerful enough to kill a large ox.
It may be passive, but it's very effective.
Like Gandhi, or the snotty note you leave your roommate when she doesn't refill the Brita.
Most of the pitfalls simply allow the prey to follow the line of least resistance. Getting out, however, is an entirely...
No, please, let me be a butterfly for just 5 minutes, and then you can eat me.
Each of the small globular objects is a trap.
Admiral Akbar loves this short.
A pretty decent science lesson with some great riffs from the guys. This one gets a 4 out of 5.
Merely to the uncovering of principles and devices that God ordained in nature.
The Lord truly works wonders through his incredibly efficient, hand-tooled killing machines.
Bless you and all your insect snaring, slaughtering, and digesting. Amen.
Number 38, You and Your Family, from April 17th, 2009.
Me and my family? Those bastards have cameras in our house.
This entry is pretty simple when you get right down to it. Here we get to see a family handle 3 different potential familial situations. All of them involve several ways you can approach the issue, most of which involve being a total jerk.
Suppose, for instance, you were in Mary's place. What do you think she should do next?
Disguise herself as a talking bear.
Now are you ready for the next family scene?
No, I'd like a break. Hey, well, why even ask?
What happens is Mary...
That's right. Sorry, Mary.
If I don't go along with Mother, she locks me in the basement.
Can't I go, Daddy, please? I want to so much.
Sorry, Mary, but it's all settled.
I just knew this family want all.
Ah, Mary's wrath causes stutters in time itself.
Well, it wasn't exactly a car. It was more like a wagon.
Are you sure you're telling the truth, Bill?
Of course I'm telling the truth. The trouble with this family is nobody ever believes me.
Well, Bill, you did embezzle millions from us.
That's one way to meet a...
Listen, the family says no.
Family? Seen the mafia?
I'll meet you anyway. Okay? Swell. See you tomorrow night.
We heard everything. We're only 9 feet away.
Now each situation here is one ending that's supposedly better than the rest. But I'm going to be honest here and say that even with some of the quote-unquote positive outcomes, they aren't that great. And overall, while the riffs are funny, the short itself doesn't really stand out much in any way.
That was method number 2.
Sure was number 2. What a terrible method.
Possibility.
Here, I'll help, Mother.
Yeah, he's angling to inherit her costume jewelry.
Next, suppose we look at another very familiar family situation.
A zombie attack led by Grandma.
Late at night. Using the Johnson family for illustration, you've seen several possible ways of meeting typical problems.
Assuming you're in the Johnson family.
Everyone in the family would lend a hand once in a while. We'd get the work done that much quicker. Then we could all go out afterwards and do anything we wanted to.
Anything, like train whales to roller skate.
Do you think it's best? In your opinion, what should happen when an invitation is received by telephone or otherwise?
Does otherwise include a large rock through the window? Because that might color my opinion.
What family housework?
Showing us all that our own relatives may not be so bad after all. This dysfunctional family gets a 2 out of 5.
Questions like these are kind of tough to answer in any family.
He sees us.
What you have to say
through the mists of time
and fashion.
Number 39, Primary Safety in the School Building, from April 24th, 2009.
In your class, do you sometimes forget some of the safe ways to do things to keep from getting hurt?
Your friend Timmy Miller did, and now he's in the special class.
Today in Miss Johnson's
If someone tasked you with teaching a group of elementary kids about safety, how would you do it? Well, it definitely shouldn't be showing them this short, nor attempting what's done in it. Here we have a teacher giving a not very observant child the job of being a sort of crossing guard for in-classroom safety.
When he sees a good, safe way, he'll give it the go sign, just like a traffic light.
Only dimmer and less dependable.
You raise the Do you see something?
Becky's about to reenact the happening.
Okay, notice how discreetly the murder weapon is passed.
Gordon needs to remember to keep his feet out of the way so they won't trip other people.
Gordon will need a good caning to drive the point home.
We all need to keep to the right, but leave enough room for doors to be opened without hurting anyone.
Sounds like a sensible political agenda.
Are you watching? The way the class is watching?
Half-heartedly.
And I see a good, safe way. Do you?
Just say yes, smile, and nod. For God's sake, don't make waves.
Keep thinking about good, safe ways to do things.
3 children are dead as a consequence.
And we keep our own legs out of the way so no one trips over them.
To do otherwise is thought crime.
How do we carry chairs?
How do we punish those who do it wrong?
Well, now it's time for recess.
Recess?
But because of rainy weather, they will go to the gym today.
For an assembly on proper assembly viewing manners.
It seems, but the safety guide doesn't.
Safe.
Miss Johnson wants Doris to show what it is.
Doris has been kissing ass since the preschool.
Not only does the kid already look pretty ridiculous, but there's absolutely no point in the kid being part of this lesson. The other kids seem very capable of pointing out each other's safety failures by themselves.
If Bill doesn't see it, someone else will.
So Bill is redundant.
No, Bill sees something. Did anyone else see it?
Bill calls for a lockdown of the 2nd grade.
Today, it's Bill's turn to be the safety guide.
Bill hasn't summoned a thought since kindergarten.
The class beat the safety guide that time. Bill will have to look sharp, won't he?
Retribution will be swift and ferocious.
Do you see what the safety guide sees?
I see a budding Hitler.
Now watch.
Bill makes one last desperate grab for power.
Did you see what Bill? Good safety, always to use the doorknob so your fingers don't get caught in the door.
Yeah, Bill's just grasping at straws at this point, frankly.
And there are other safe practices you may know and would like to think about.
But do not think
Maybe
without
you
your
would like
giant
to play a
safety
game
signs.
In your school.
Using the most ridiculous of means to teach the most simple of lessons, this entry gets a 3 out of 5.
And remember, all rough edges will be ground down. Conform.
Number 40, Damaged Goods, from April 29th, 2009.
After Where's Waldo ran its course, Waldo became a social cripple, convinced thousands were still looking for him, unable to forge lasting friendships.
Do you remember when we covered Know For Sure a couple weeks ago? You know, the one where it seemed like everyone in the world must have syphilis? Well, the teens in this short sure could have used it.
Lady, you are for me.
The bizarre cross-eyed cartoon cutout lady, I'd say that's just about right for him. Sexual tension greatly enhanced by the somebody's basement rec room decor.
Oh, great Aunt Esther, why?
Hey, you looking for girls?
Oh, you know it.
All an elaborate scam to get them to buy Girl Scout cookies.
You're very handsome.
Compared to the guy I did an hour ago.
Thanks.
It's a place that exclusively features drunken aunts from recent weddings.
Nice of the fellow on the left to invite his mom out.
Yes, sir. I think we got company.
Move, 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 people, go, 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 move, 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 move. Oh, different kind of we got company.
I could make you happy.
I make great balloon animals.
After giving in to peer pressure with virtually no resistance, a teen makes time with a prostitute, and surprise, surprise, only negative things come from it. The kid goes on to admitting his regrettable deed to his coach, who then takes him to a doctor to get checked out.
No, sir. Then what is it?
And can my resemblance to Mark Trail help in any way?
I guess so. You having trouble with your studies?
Oh, no, sir.
The power of Brill Cream will heal you.
You have syphilis, Jim.
I couldn't.
Geez, you could have called me in from the waiting room before announcing that, Doc.
Well, if you'd lived 100 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to help you.
So it ticks me off having to save you.
So you think maybe you picked up something, huh?
Yeah, very skanky woman. How much clearer do I have to be?
You don't get syphilis from...
Oh, I've been to this quack. He tells everyone they have syphilis. Went in with a sprained ankle. He insisted I had
guess I
syphilis.
got to deceive you. Sorry about that. Forget it. That isn't what I wanted to talk to you about.
It's those hideous sores covering your entire body.
It's important, Jim. Our biggest problem in controlling venereal disease
is that we're actually rather fond of it and don't want to hurt it in any way.
Jim, it could be nothing. But we better not take a chance.
Time for some purifying fire, son.
Do I even need to say anything this time? This idiocy-filled short gets a 3.5 out of 5.
We'll be able to lick it before it does any real damage.
After seeing that doctor, people never wanted to have sex ever again.
Or eat, or breathe.
So long from Damaged Goods.
As always, thank you all so much for watching, and you can expect to see episode 9 up here same time next week. I'll see you guys later.
It's time for